Hello and good day, Mike Adcock with your Worldwide Tropical Outlook for today, the 4th of September 2013. Brief time here is 9 Zulu. Handful of areas that we're tracking today. We're going to go ahead and start off to the west, work our way east. Really only one tropical cyclone, that's the Tropical Depression Yutu. Really not much there. And then going to be talking briefly, actually start us off with the remnants of Toraji there in southern Japan. At 6 Zulu, this is the NRL position, but it was near Takaoka, Japan. 25 knot winds, and it is moving off to the northeast at a pretty good clip there at 22 knots. Now, this was dropped by both JMA and the JTWC earlier today. It's now merged with a stationary boundary that we've been tracking for the past few days. You can actually see this on the multispectral imagery here, this stationary boundary. That's what's been given the heavy rain for most of Japan over the weekend, and will give us yet another round or two of heavy rain over the next few days. You can see, though, the remnants of Toraji, devoid of any convection. It's completely, it's not a tropical cyclone at this time. The concern is actually twofold. As it merges with this stationary boundary, again, the heavy rainfall, and then secondarily, you're going to see a lot of this warm, moist air getting pulled up from the south, and that's going to be affecting the Kanto Plain. So looking for showers and thunderstorms over the next several days. Right now, looking at the models, pinpointing heavier rain showers in the Kanto Plain, especially to the west of Tokyo. Do have some warnings out right now. Pretty much all of Japan is in some sort of advisory, but southern Honshu is going to be under various warnings, and this is really for flooding and heavy rainfall. Same story actually up in Akita, and that's associated with that stationary boundary draped off in the Sea of Japan. You can see it here on the 6Z surface analysis from JMA. Here is the remnants of Toraji moving off to the northeast. That stationary boundary pretty much draped along the western coast of Japan. Do have another area of low pressure in the north, and what we're seeing is a slow drift off to the northeast. The problem that's going to plague Japan is a strong area of high pressure off to the east. That's not going to let that stationary boundary move anywhere too quickly. So throughout the remainder of the week, really looking at showers and thunderstorms throughout much of the country, heavy at times, affecting plans there. So definitely something that we'll have to continue to watch out for throughout Japan. Take a look at the WRF total precipitation model. This is the 06 Zulu run, and this is through tomorrow morning at 0Z, or about 9 a.m. local Japan time. You can see heavy rainfall there again, points west of Tokyo there in the Kanto Plain. Right now through tomorrow morning, looking at precipitation totals about 3 to 4 inches, up to 3 to 4 inches, and then through Friday morning, more of the same as that boundary continues to make its way eastward. This is again total precipitation through the 2 days there. Moving to the southeast. Do have a new disturbance, 99W. This is about 545 kilometers southeast of Guam. Pretty weak here, not really tracking much. JTWC isn't putting anything. You can see a little bit on this multispectral imagery, a little bit of a rotation, a very, very weak, broad area of low pressure, but not a whole lot of any convection, just some popcorn thunderstorms set up there. It is worth monitoring over the next few days as it continues to track westward over the warm western Pacific waters, but right now nothing imminent in terms of formation. And then to the north there, about 1,465 kilometers, well off to the northwest of the Midway Islands, out in the middle of nowhere, is Tropical Depression Yutu. JMA has dropped issuing advisories on it. They are tracking it, though, in their warning and analysis bulletin. pretty weak system. It's devoid of any convection at this time. Really stretching to be called a tropical depression, honestly. You can see this tight circulation though with it, and that's worth watching. Still well formed low, so we could see, especially as it's drifting west to southwestward back over more warmer waters, in the near term anyway, still a lot of stable air out ahead of it. You can see that with this stratocumulus. And again, pulling up that surface analysis, just drifting it here. A lot of stable air, so it's going to have a hard time getting any near-term development. But if it continues to hold it together and drift off to that southwesterly motion, there is a possibility it may get its act together. Right now, JTWC is going with a low-risk area, and really, I think that's stretching, and there's not much with it. But it is some, like 99W. This part of the world, it is September, it still is worth keeping an eye on. Closer to Mexico now, 99E kicked up. This is an area of low pressure, about 250 kilometers south of Manzanillo. Do have some showers and thunderstorms with that. It is starting to consolidate a little bit, and you can see that in those last few loops of our MSI imagery. If this continues, we could see a tropical depression form over the next few days. Near term right now, National Hurricane Center is going with 50%. Over the next 5 days, 70% for this to become a tropical depression. It is moving to the west-northwest or west-northwest to northwest at about 9 knots. The issue right now in the near term, it is awfully close to the coast of Mexico, so heavy showers, some gusty winds is going to be a concern, but that's going to continue to track off out to sea, at least in the near term. Here's our track guidance with that. Moving off to the northwest, if it stays on the eastern side of this track guidance, may see a potential effect for southern Baja or lower Baja California. And we've been seeing this actually with the past few systems in the Eastern Pacific, Evo, Juliet, just recently Kiko, with systems kind of moving in this northwesterly motion parallel to the Mexican coastline. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. In terms of intensity, pretty much everything outside GFS. GFS has been our party pooper for the Western Pacific, or for the Western Hemisphere. But the rest of the model guidance does intensify the storm or system into a tropical storm. If it does become a tropical storm, it would be named Lorena. Not really seeing much more than, say 45-50 knots with this, and then it's going to move far enough north, get under some cooler water, more stable conditions. And then moving over into the Atlantic Caribbean Sea here, 97L. This is about 325 kilometers south-southeast of Puerto Rico, of San Juan. It's a broad area of low pressure. Pretty, in terms of satellite appearance, over the past few hours, it's really gotten its act together. It probably is one of the better-looking systems across the globe right now. The problem is land, and you can see, while we have the northern leeward islands, then you start, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. These are going to play a role in the forecast for this area of interest. Right now, near term, in the next 48 hours, looking at about 30%, and that's really driven toward the proximity to landfall. More long term, and this is looking out over the next 5 days, it's about a 50% chance. Either way, you're going to get a lot of, again, heavy rainfall, gusty winds across this region of the Caribbean. Taking a look at the track guidance, this is one of those things where the near-term intensity is going to help drive the track. The track is going to help drive the intensity. So they're working hand in hand. And what I mean by that is the more it develops in the near term, and that is in the next 36 hours, really 24 to 36 hours. That's going to say whether or not it's going to continue carry off in the easterlies and move into the Caribbean Sea, somewhat like is depicted here by the beta advection models. Or it can intensify, start to pull up, and kind of like with the GFS and the consensus models, bringing it quickly into the North Atlantic and less time over land. That being said, whatever track it takes in the near term will dictate how much time it spends over land and what it does for the latter part of the forecast. If it does climatology and persistence, or say the L-bar models, where day 2 it's going to be crossing Hispaniola, very heavy or very rugged terrain, so pretty tough for a tropical cyclone to move through there. The latter part of the forecast is really just going to be not much of anything. Looking for a very weak system, be it a tropical cyclone or just a wave disturbance. It's not going to be much. So a lot of uncertainty, obviously, from this track. Taking a look at the intensity guidance as well. This green line is indicating the consensus, and it takes it up to a Category 1 hurricane eventually. Ships, for that matter, also takes it up to Category 1. But my concern with that is you don't see a whole lot of weakening in the 24 to 36 hour point. So I think that's awfully bullish. And especially on the latter end where we're talking a hurricane strength, I'm not so eager to jump on that. On the other hand, AVI, or the GFS, which again barely clipped Hispaniola, doesn't even become a tropical storm. So again, there's a great deal of uncertainty with this system. We're just going to have to continue to monitor it. Good news is there is a reconnaissance mission scheduled. The one earlier today was canceled, so Teal 70 is set for wheels up at about 1700 Zulu. Right now they're forward deployed to St. Croix, so it won't take them very long to get out to the storm. Give us plenty of time to check out, about 4 hours to check out the storm, try to get a fix on it. So we'll see if there's any news there. Taking a look at the outlook, if needed, again, by the 24-hour point, 24 to 36 hours, this is going to be moving inland, so not going to have reconnaissance. There is a possibility, 5th at 18Z, to get another mission that is placed in the outlook. On the other hand, just a few hours ago, the first Global Hawk mission for 97L concluded. Do have another one up on deck. NASA's tail number 872 is set to fly 97L. This is going to be another 24-hour mission. They'll go wheels up on that at about 15 Zulu, and then they'll be hanging around the Caribbean doing a racetrack pattern from 19 Zulu through 10 Zulu tomorrow. And this is really, again, a research mission for the system, looking at a storm in its infant stages. They'll be flying at about 55 to 65,000 feet and set to deploy about 84 dropsons. And the outlook for the Global Hawk does have another mission. They'll land again on Thursday at 10 Zulu, and they'll turn around and take off again at 15 Zulu and do another 24-hour mission. And while we're talking about reconnaissance, not really with 97L, but with an area of interest over in the near the Bay of Campeche, there is a possible mission on deck for the outlook, and that's going to be wheels up at about 1730 on the 5th. So more to come on that. Of course, you can go over to westernpacificweather.com. This is more as we continue to watch Toraji as it makes landfall, or continues to affect portions of southern Japan. Again, it's with the remnants of this system and the stationary boundary that's going to be giving showers and thunderstorms for that region, we've been seeing the past over the weekend, and as of today, looking at some isolated tornadoes. So continue to monitor over there. You can also follow along on Facebook and Twitter. And of course, you can always go over to storm2k.org and join in on the global tropical discussion there. Follow me at Twitter at Senior Pepper. I'll be posting here and there. Again, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day and take care.